Welcome back. It's 8:19 and the heat can do more than drain your energy. It can put real pressure on your mental health. Research links extreme temperatures to more emergency visits involving anxiety, mood disorders, and self-harm. A journal from the American Medical Association reports researchers analyzed nearly 3.5 million mental health-related emergency room visits across the country, comparing those visits with temperatures during the warmest months. They found that the rate of emergency visits involving any mental health condition was 8% higher on days of extreme heat compared to days with more comfortable temperatures. Extreme heat was also associated with a 7% increase in emergency visits involving anxiety and stress-related disorders. Mood disorder visits increased by the same amount. I want to welcome in now Tricia Pease, co-founder of Serenity Mental Health Centers, joining us now with the warning signs and ways to protect yourself. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning.
Of course, we talk a lot about dehydration and understanding what heat exhaustion does, but what does emotional heat stress look like?
Yeah, it's not uncommon at this time of year for people to be feeling that emotional stress with the heat and changes in routine that can happen in the summer where we're not in our normal patterns of behavior, and that increased stress can really aggravate pre-existing mental health conditions.
So why do you think the cold gets that reputation more than the heat? I hear a lot about seasonal depression when it comes to cold temperatures, but not so much warm ones.
Yeah, well, the sun is great for helping our mood, and so we think about the dark in the winter as taking that away, but the reality is when it gets really hot, we also stay inside, tend to avoid the socialization and other things that can really help boost our mood. And so it's important to recognize the things that you are doing to help keep your mental health healthy, such as socialization, drinking lots of water, and having a really well-balanced routine.
So why can high temperatures affect the brain and our ability to regulate emotions?
Yeah, there's a lot of things at play there, but especially water and sleep are affected when we get hot. We have, more sweating that causes evaporation and our dehydration goes up. And then if you're uncomfortable at night, you're restless in bed, you're not sleeping as well. And we find that our sleep is one of the most important things that protects our mental wellness. And so we got to be very cognizant of those things during a heat wave.
So what changes in behavior should folks watch out for?
If you're just feeling sluggish, you're feeling anxiety, things like that, check your water intake, check your sleep routines, and try to see what you're doing to make sure that those things are protected. And if there's other, symptoms that are getting worse, that's when you need to reach out to your doctor.
And you mentioned heat and sleep. Not getting enough sleep, of course, really bad for your mental health. So talk more about that connection between sleep, extreme heat, and mental health.
Yeah, with sleep, that's when our brain gets to refresh and kind of reset our neural pathways and make sure that everything's ready for another day. And so if we're not getting in a really good sleep rhythm, our brain doesn't get that refresh that it needs. And so anyone, especially with a pre-existing mental condition like depression or anxiety or PTSD and things like that, will find that their brain is less equipped to deal with the triggers that typically are difficult for them. And so when you're hot, your body doesn't kind of settle into that rhythm because you're uncomfortable, you're tossing, you're turning. And so sleep can really be disrupted by those heat waves.
And a lot of folks might be tempted, the sun is out, it's summer, to maybe on their own stop or change their medication. What is your thoughts on that? What is your advice to folks?
Yeah, one of the things that we love here is looking at the whole picture, right? And so if your medications aren't working, work with your doctor because they should care just as much as you do to get you on something that works. Don't do that on your own because there can be warning signs and things that you'll miss, but there's always more options out there, and that's what the professionals are here to help you think through.
All right, Tricia, thank you so much. I think this is a great conversation, especially folks who might be feeling like, oh my goodness, am I crazy? It's nice out, it's summer, I should be happy. But this is a great explanation as to maybe why not. Tricia Pease, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.